Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hi everybody!
Hey everyone!
My name is David Bell.
And I'm Tom Ryman.
And we just watched Captain Marvel!
Captain Marvel!
Captain Marvel.
So you're not from around here?
It's hard to explain. I keep having these memories. I see flashes. I think I had a life here. But I can't tell if it's real.
So, hey Tom.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the movie?
I liked it.
Yeah. I liked it with the exact same kind of tone you put. I liked it the more the movie went on. My enjoyment of the movie, if it was a graph, it would gradually go up because I gotta say, my strongest observation of this movie is that I didn't like the first 15 minutes. The moment they got to Earth, I enjoyed everything.
It definitely picks up when they get the beginning is a little dense. Like they throw a lot of information at you, and you can sort of. I mean, it's not. They dress it up in the same way that Guardians was, so it's not super overwhelming because you're kind of already familiar with the Kree and stuff, but they do throw a lot of information at you really early. I
also just found it all dull at first. I think here's the thing is that I really liked the characters. I enjoyed the writing. I feel like the directors weren't particularly great. It was kind of muted in color. Like the part where she's picking out her suit, I was like, man, I can't see it.
That really should. There was a lot of stuff that really should have been in the daytime.
Yes. And so I think there was a few bad decisions. I don't think the action was particularly well shot. I think that's the biggest thing this movie had going against it, which is I didn't feel like the directors knew what they were doing. Other than that, I really enjoyed a lot of it. It feels silly criticizing it because it's a fun Marvel movie.
It's a really fun movie. It is. I'm trying to think of what to compare it to. I mean, it's very much like those fish out of water alien stories that they used to do. It
has a little bit of Thor. It has a little bit of Captain America.
Yeah.
It has a lot of moments in it that was like, I did not like. I wonder what Kurt Cobain would think about Disney.
Disney
using his
music in a
I know.
And it ends with a whole song.
Yeah, and that was because it's the '90s and it makes sense.
The
and
soundtrack was pretty bitchin'.
Delightful. Again, it's just designed to be enjoyed, and I guess that's my only beef with the first 20 minutes is I found it dull, and I was like, come on, let's get going, let's have fun. And then they do, and it was like, all right, this is great, this is fantastic, I'm having fun. That's my only that's really my main criticisms. I think oh man, there was some emotional things. The Stan Lee tribute at the beginning.
Stan Lee tribute was good.
And then the Stan Lee cameo. Holy shit.
Yeah, that maybe they shouldn't have maybe not have done that.
Really?
Yeah.
Why not? Why, you didn't like it?
It was a homunculus, wasn't it?
What?
Wasn't it a CGI construct?
Oh, I thought they were all... No, they shot it. They recorded his... I looked it up. No, it's not a post-mortem. They didn't do it after he was dead. They did it... What I heard is I think they had to make him younger. because everybody's younger.
Oh, that's okay. That's why it looked. Because for a second, I thought they were just playing the audio from Mallrats.
Oh, no. Yeah, that would be horribly... That would be a horrible idea. No, what I read is that they originally did it more... They filmed it and they made it even more silly, and then he died, and so they didn't like CGI anything, but they like changed her reaction to him or something. Like they made it... They tweaked it a little after he died, but it was generally what they had planned, which... I immediately, after the movie, went on Twitter and found Kevin Smith's tweet... Kevin Smith had a tweet like, about to go see Captain Marvel. I think I'll like this. It's like, oh man, you have no idea. Because he famously like weeps during superhero movies. And of course, his next tweet was him with fucking tears in his eyes. Like, holy shit. Because I thought that was a really cool thing to do for him, who's been, such a vocal supporter of comics before comics were mainstream.
Yeah. I mean,
so,
and it's Stan Lee rehearsing for his cameo in Mallrats is basically
which was a great idea, I thought.
Even though it's anachronistic, but that's fine.
Yeah, it now puts Kevin Smith in the Marvel universe.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was. I liked that idea tone wise. Like, Marvel at this point, I've given up on the idea that they're taking anything too seriously.
No.
They still tonally have a problem with a lot of it where it's like, I like Infinity Wars, but then like following it with Ant-Man, and like it's that thing of like, I can't tell how serious you want me to take the Thanos snap. Because it tonally they're really walking a line.
That's comics. Honestly, like I think you take each one within the context of its own story.
Yeah, I think
so. They do. It's very much the way Marvel does every year. They have all their individual books and stuff, and then there's always one big annual crossover event that brings everybody in, and the stakes are always really crazy high in it, and shit changes that stays changed for the next year or two or so. So like Avengers versus X-Men was one, and Fear Itself, Original Sin was another one. They just do these big crossover tentpole events each year that bring in all the heroes. So it's like you can kind of look at the Avengers movies like those, and then all these other movies are like kind of like the own individual books doing their own storylines throughout the year. So the tones can be all over the place.
Right. Yeah, and I know it's like it's just like TV now, because they don't take it seriously. They know it's just movies, and they know we're just having fun and all that.
Yeah, no, I was fine with it.
Yeah, I can't say I was mad at it. And that's what I'm saying is that it's still their work. It's this weird tonal thing that they have to do, where some movies, it was again like it's like a roller coaster, because then there was the post-credit sequence where you're like, oh right, fucking shit, the snap, which was great. I'm excited to see her mingle with the Avengers for sure.
Oh yeah,
I feel like she's a game changer, right?
Yeah, she has basically low tier power cosmic, so
she's all god and shit.
Yeah, she's gonna kick somebody's dick. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Okay, what other detail? I don't know if we want to just go through the plot. I'm trying to.
I mean, we can. I just thought it was fun. Like you get, as soon as they get to Earth is when it really picks up.
Yeah.
And it's just the 90s was delightful. All the music was delightful. Sam Jackson is so much fun in this movie.
Yeah, they did pretty good with the 90s, because I was scared they were going to really fucking overdo it.
They don't. It's kind of in the background.
Yes. They kind of blow their load immediately, where they're like, okay, she lands in a video store. Here's True Lies. Here's Last Action Hero.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to give you everything. And that was cool. I enjoyed the cat.
Yes, of course, that cat.
Yeah, those were the little things that I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense, but I don't care. Where they bring the cat on the mission, And it's like, why would you do that?
Well, the cat was in the ship.
Oh, right. But no, then they land in the other place, and they don't have to bring the cat at that point. The cat is a stowaway when they leave the base.
Well, the cat's...
and then they go to that farm, and then they take the cat with them again. And it was like, nah, leave the cat behind. I know why you're taking the cat in terms of we want to have a fun movie.
Well, Sam Jackson takes the cat with them from the farm because it scares Ben Mendelsohn. So he's like, I'm taking this cat as insurance. So that's how the cat ends up on the lab. And then they figure out
because he's using it to like threaten him.
Yes.
Yeah. Is the premise that all cats are like that?
No.
Okay. It's just the one cat.
It's a specific alien cat Annette Bening brought with her from space.
Right. It's Annette Bening's cat.
It's Annette Bening's cat.
Who's great in this. The other one that was like a little sweaty for me was the little girl convincing her mother to go on the dangerous mission.
Yeah.
That felt a little like, okay, we're trying to get her. And the girl like seemed like she kind of changed characters to like tell her, like what kid is like, no, like mother who's been in the military my whole life, go on this thing. It felt sweaty. Again, a lot of this is like just trying to get us to the thing.
Yeah, I think that was more of they wanted Marie to go on the mission and not have the audience feel bad that she's leaving her kid behind. The kid's like, no, you got to go. I'd tell my mom to go to fucking space.
Yeah,
I'd be like, you kidding?
It's one
of
those
space.
Again, where it's like, like she clearly is like, this is a very dangerous mission. I don't want to leave my daughter. I don't know. If I was in that position with a kid, I wouldn't go to space because I would be like, I'm not going to orphan my kid. And then if the kid's like, no, go, I'd be like, yeah, you're a kid. So I'm not going to listen to you. I don't know. Again, it's one of those things where we all wanted her to go into space. So it's like, I'm not complaining because the only other question I had was, it seemed really, I wasn't clear on why they go to that army base. And then they're like
the Pegasus base.
And then they immediately detain them. And I was really confused about, like, they let them in. He seems to have the authority.
He could go in, but as soon as he asked about
about the Pegasus, then they were like,
he asked specifically if they could see Annette Bening, and they're like, this is not right.
Okay,
so they lock him
sense.
in that office, and then of course they break out, which is a shit show. And then Fury pages Ben Mendelsohn, who's actually the Skrull in disguise.
Right. I like the Skrull stuff. It was evident from the trailer that Jude Law wasn't going to be a good guy.
I tell you, it was a little surprising as a comic fan because the Skrulls are pretty much always bad guys.
Okay, well, that was the thing. Is I didn't expect them to be good. I just knew, okay, Jude Law's bad. And so once they were sort of good, it was like, oh, okay. I mean, it was still really cool.
Yeah, for sure. So what I was thinking the whole time was that Jude Law was a Skrull.
Oh.
In disguise. But it's no, he's a Kree. The fact that it takes place 25 years ago, so it comes before all these Marvel movies that we've seen. But the fact that he's palling around with Ronan should have been a big tip off.
Yeah.
Like, they're probably not good guys.
Well, yeah, I was curious about when he first calls Ronan, that was one where I was like, oh, okay, so like Ronan is goodish, and it was like, oh wait, no.
No, they're still. I mean, they're part of the same military, and they do make it clear in Guardians that Ronan has gone rogue. Ronan's a zealot that's broken off with his own.
I liked
cult,
how
basically
a lot of Guardians characters showed up.
Yeah, Jimon Hansu is in it. He's part of Jude Law's team.
Yeah,
so we know he ends up going with Ronan.
Yeah, that was cool. Trying to think of what else was cool. I like the Nick Fury eye. That was
the funniest.
Yeah, I like how they handled the cat because the cat was still like a cat about a lot of things.
But it was also a
little goblin and vomiting up the Tesseract was great. The Tesseract origin, that was good. I enjoyed that.
I might have. Was there one at the very end? Because if there was a scene at the very end of the credits, I didn't stay for.
Oh, you missed it. The cat. Okay. It's Nick Fury's desk, and the cat wanders onto the desk and sits there, and then goes. and then just vomits the Tesseract.
Perfect.
And yeah, exactly. It was like, oh, that's cute. That's perfect.
So my question is, how did the Tesseract come from? Oh, this is weird.
Well,
because it's at the bottom. It's at the bottom of the ocean at the end of Captain America, and then Howard Stark finds it and brings it up.
Oh yeah.
So how did Annette Bening get it into a space lab?
I hope they didn't forget that, because yeah, you're right. That's kind of fucking weird. Maybe she had a relationship with Stark somewhere down the line.
Well, we know Stark worked for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
But S.H.I.E.L.D. didn't seem to know anything about Annette Bening in this film. At least
totally
Fury
forgotten
didn't.
about that. I don't know. I assume that Marvel has someone keeping track of their timeline continuity, but I also assume that they don't necessarily listen to that person all the time. And they were just we want the Tesseract in this. I could have used even more like winks at the other movies in the 90s or something. I wouldn't mind seeing like a 90s Tony Stark or like just for the fuck of it, because again, it's just fun. So why not just go all the way when you have Stan Lee, rehearsing for Mallrats,
reading his Mallrats script.
Once you cross that line, it's like, just have fun with it. Who gives a shit?
So that, but I mean, because if you trace that continuity, it just blows everything apart.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense, but it's fine. I like that when she's on the train beating the shit out of the old lady Skrull, like the other bystanders keep trying to stop her.
Oh, yeah, that was fantastic.
She's wailing on this old lady.
That was a great, really just the moment they get to the night. I wanted that, this isn't really a criticism, but I got kind of sad the moment they left LA, because I was like, I kind of want this to just be an Los Angeles adventure with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Where they're just palling away around in the 90s, just like enjoying 90s shit.
Yeah.
I would have.
She has that flannel on. I was like, oh no. Yeah. And the Doc Martens. Oh no.
So good. I almost think they should have made it even smaller scale. That said, it's kind of hard to do that for her because Captain Marvel is such a powerful character. Mm-hmm. It almost would be a waste to bring down the scale. She needed to punch some spaceships. We needed that.
At the same time, it still felt a little smaller scale to me.
Oh yeah,
because
that's why
the world's not in danger. Like it's this secret war.
That's why it's weird saying that it should be smaller scale.
It's a secret war.
We watched Star Trek: The Voyage Home recently. I want that for Marvel. I want them to do something that's so insane and unrelated that you're like, what the fuck? And like, smaller scale. Although Voyage Home is not small scale. Not like it's the fate of the Earth, but you know what I mean. Where it's like, I'd love to have more standalone weird Marvel movies that they all have to connect in some way. And it felt like the addition of the Tesseract was almost like it wasn't necessary because it didn't actually play a big part.
Yeah, it was just sort of explaining how she got her power, how she became a cosmic being.
Yeah.
When she's still technically she was a human.
Yeah, and at that point it's like, well, you might as well bring in like the Tesseract or something from the others if you're gonna have some sort of MacGuffin or like some explanation. Why not tie it all together? That makes sense.
Sure.
They did good with her powers. I thought that was a tough. Her learning her powers, getting it. It's hard to.
Yeah, it's hard to. That was I saw. I saw it with Marina, and she fucking loved it, and would be recording this with us. But we don't quite have that technological capability set up at my location just yet. We need to get like a headphone splitter and shit. But that was like her one gripe about the movie, and it wasn't even really a gripe, but she was just like, I mean, she's never in trouble. Like, she was like, Carol's never in trouble. Like, I never felt like she was in danger at all. I'm like, no, because she's friggin' invincible. But they do a good job of how she has to like figure out, the power was in you all along, because they make her think it's this chip that's in her neck.
Yeah,
which is really just like a shock collar that the Kree put in her.
Yeah, That is was my criticism as well, which is that there's not when she's like fighting Jude Law, it was just like, what is this? Like, just kill him. He's like, you're like a god. Yeah, where it's like you're never really in danger, but they made it like.
Yeah, I think they made it work by doing that angle where she doesn't quite, it takes her till the end of the movie to really cut loose with her powers. And then also the angle of she's being used as a weapon on the wrong side of a war.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have done a little more with that. I do feel like the more I think about it, one of the main problems with the movie is I feel like they didn't know what to do, so they kept just having her captured. And then she would escape. This like her hands would glow and she would escape. And it's a lot of her just sort of like. I guess that's.
I think she only gets captured once.
Twice, right? She gets the brainwash, the first one. No, technically 3 times. When she crashes, she gets captured by Jude Law, and then the Kree capture her and like go into her brain, and then she's captured. Skrulls, whatever. Yeah, and then the Kree capture her on the ship, and they also like go into her brain. She has the weird net bending, and both times it's just that she just uses her powers and breaks the chains. It just felt like they didn't know what to do with someone that is powerful. It still worked because there was a lot of, I don't know. My favorite parts were the parts where they're just like sitting around talking.
Yeah.
So like. The action was almost sort of like, yeah, okay, that's fine too.
Yeah, it was very, very funny when Jude Law gets out of his spaceship at the end for the final showdown and starts that rant. And he's like, you need to prove to me that you're good enough to beat me without using your power. And then she just fucking shoots him, and he flies like 100 yards back and bounces off of a rock formation,
and then says, "I don't have to prove anything to you." That was beautiful. That was fucking.
She drags him. She's just dragging him through the desert and throws him back into his spaceship.
That was a beautiful fucking debate me, you coward moment. That's all right. That's what the conflict is, and this is why I really liked the movie, and I liked it the more as I went. The conflict is that she's so powerful, she just doesn't realize it because these people are telling her she's not powerful. That's her basic arc. Is her whole life is people telling her she's too emotional, and that she's not powerful and she can't do it. And like the only limitation was her having to believe in herself. That montage where she gets back up, and that's like where it's like you're just a human, and it's like and the one thing humans can do is fucking. Like they don't give up. That was great. It's the conflict is very internal.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very based off the character. I almost wish they pushed that more because I think it gets lost a little because they don't do that much with the collar. Like I would have liked to see almost like a third act moment where she gets her ass kicked, not realizing that at any point she could just, realize that like her believing the collar is really like she has like I wanted to see a low point where the collar really plays into it because the collar doesn't that much, and it's a bigger deal. Yeah. Again, I'm really just trying to pick this movie apart because this was one where when I walked out I was like, man, I don't want to fucking spend an hour like trying to find any flaws with this movie. Because again, it's just a lot of fun.
We just talk about what worked.
Yeah,
it's just really fun.
Yeah, it's just really fun. Although I do think there was some like the directing. There was, it's really fun, but I feel like there was just something a little off about it in the editing.
Some of the action sequences were weirdly muddy.
Yeah,
particularly the first one where she and Team Jude Law go to a planet to meet their contact. It's in the very first act of the film. It's like really, it's dark and muddy. It's like kind of hard to tell what's going on, and all the colors are muted, and it's like, this is a weird decision.
Yeah, but I think this movie has about like an 80% with critics or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And that seems about right for me.
Yeah.
I think it's a really fun movie. It's mostly like I'm excited to see this character more.
Yeah.
Since this is an origin movie, it's really hard. They got to cram in the origin story. It's one of those where Jude Law feels like I think of I don't even remember who the villain of the first Thor was. Was it Loki?
Yeah.
All right, maybe this feels like it's better than Thor 2, but Thor 2 is the one where it's like, was that an elf king? Who was he? Did he matter? Like,
was an elf king.
Yeah, I feel like this. It's not the movie's fault. They're doing an origin, and the origin villain is always kind of like.
Not always.
Not always, because again, Loki plays a big part. Loki in Thor.
Yeah.
But like Red Skull is another one where it's like they kind of have to just like. It's not about the threat of the villain. It's about the character finding their way.
Right. That's what this is. Like,
yeah.
For sure. Because Jude Law is never really a threat.
Yeah.
He's just...
And again,
just
the moment,
a little troll.
He's a little wiener, yeah. The moment she's on Earth until the end, it's a blast.
Yeah. Sam Jackson, I would love to talk about.
Yeah.
He's so... This is a Sam Jackson we don't get to see a lot now.
Yes.
Because he's been playing just, wise badasses for 25 years.
Oh man, yeah.
Like it's so much fun to see him be this he's almost like he's sweet. Like he's this he's funny, he's just so endearingly like
which
it's interesting to see Nick Fury be this character.
I was going to say, it works
as he
for
gets
Nick
older,
Fury.
as he gets older, he gets more hardened and less enchanted by it. But in this one, he's just so dazzled by, fuck, there's space and there's aliens, and I met like this incredibly powerful being, and we're on this like he's just constantly delighted.
He still plays it all very cool. Like he's still a cool guy. I mean, what's that?
Go finish your thought.
Oh, I think I really liked that. They could have had him like more of a wide-eyed recruit, but I don't know. It makes sense because he's powerful enough to say like, hey, we need to do this and create this Avengers initiative. So he's like, he's fought. He's not completely naive.
Oh, no.
He's like, it's more like oh, Nick Fury, who hurt you? Because someone clearly hurt you between this movie and the next time we see you.
I think it was 20, 2.5 decades of nobody listening to him about this stuff.
Right. Him with the cat is fucking great.
Him with the cat is great. It's just it's fun to see Sam Jackson in like what is essentially a comic relief role.
Yes.
Which he hasn't done in a while.
I'm trying to think of times he's done it. I would say maybe Die Hard with a Vengeance. He's kind of the comic relief, but not. He's more like I'm here to react to John McClane being insane.
Mm-hmm. He plays. It's a similar role because he's not entirely the comic relief because he still has agency and is an active part of the action and the adventure.
But it is similar in that. Oh, sorry. What were you saying?
Yeah. Oh, he's kind of like an audience voice. Like an audience proxy.
Which is kind of
like, this is fucking weird.
It's kind of Die Hard where John McClane is basically immortal as well.
Yeah.
And so it's just him being like, John McClane, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And it felt like some of that in this.
Yeah. That bit where she's asking him, like, is it Nicholas Joseph Fury? Just like, Nicholas? You people have 3 names, and she's like, no, people just call me Fury. She's like, really? He's like, yeah, everybody calls me Fury. What does your mother call you? Fury.
Yeah. And that played that mattered later.
Yeah, it did. It did. They brought it back, so it mattered.
I like them interviewing or grilling those guys about what they can change into.
Oh yeah, it's when they're going
like,
to the lab and they're all just like
$20 to turn into a Venus flytrap.
Yeah, just grilling Ben Mendelsohn on what he can turn into, and he's like, "Can you turn?" It was really funny. Like the Marie's like, "Can you turn to a filing cabinet?" He's like, "Why would I want to do that?"
I liked all the humor. The only humor that I didn't like was the first 20 minutes when they're like doing banter at each other. Because that felt forced. Something about that first fucking 20 minutes. Like when the movie first started, I was like, Like, I was really nervous because the first 20 minutes, like, I kind of wish they, like, condensed that into 5. And then if there was any information we needed, they could, like, flash back to it. It needed, I don't know. That was...
Yeah. I don't know.
Once they get to Earth, it's fucking great.
Yeah, Sam Jackson is so good in this movie.
He's really good. Him with man.
Him with what now?
Just with the cat.
Oh, the cat.
It's just, I could watch so much of him with that cat.
Him holding that cat up when he's like, come on, cat.
As a weapon.
Do
and
it
then,
again,
like,
cat.
Him just loving it immediately.
Yeah. Even after it turns into an alien, he like as he's like bends and he's like, okay, I'm gonna pick you up now.
Yeah.
He picks it up. Sorry, I'm gonna trust you not to eat me.
Mm-hmm.
That cat, and then when he loses his eye.
Oh yeah, that was
it's
cute.
It's a small scratch, and it ends up being this catastrophic injury.
Yeah, that was cute when because they kept doing the fake out eye things.
Yeah,
yeah. I had hoped they were gonna do that, and I was glad they did.
Yeah, it was. They didn't overdo it.
Yeah,
they do it twice. So
yeah, and that was in Hot Tub Time Machine. They did it.
Yeah.
So it was like, yeah, I know this joke's been done before, but this is
it's funny.
Yeah, it's fucking
it's
funny.
It's a funny joke. It's right there.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do it? Just be clever with it, and it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, they did it. Man, they.
What's up?
They did a good job with, I think, all the characters. Because Captain Marvel herself, she's not that serious, but she's a more serious character. And so it's interesting to see Nick Fury, who we know as being a serious character, get to be the comic relief.
Yeah, and it was nice to see, because they've figured that archetype out with Tony Stark in the first Iron Man. We're like, oh, if we just have him be charming and funny, then this is all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of that with a lot of the Marvel characters, like Thor starting to be more funny, to the point where he's almost buffoonish.
It's funny with Thor. It's almost like he should be getting less funny. He should have started really, because that's what I appreciate is why don't I remember her character, Captain Marvel, her human name,
Carol,
thank you. She has a reason to not be that. She's like comes off as sarcastic and like someone who's probably very funny, but she's in a situation that's not funny for her.
Yeah. What I was getting to is that they make her charming and funny in a different way, because like when they brought in Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, he's kind of the same sort of, and Doctor Strange too. They're sort of the same kind of character as Tony Stark, where they're the same kind of wise ass dickhead, and then when the chips are down, they get all serious. But like Carol's a different kind of funny under fire, which was nice.
Yeah, she seems more like a Captain America type, like a little more noble. I want to say, like it's okay for her not to be like not every Marvel character, because I think after Star-Lord and of course Tony Stark, it's just like it'd be so easy to them to make them all wise asses.
Yeah, no, not everybody needs to be Han Solo. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You got to get a couple of Lukes in there.
Yeah, and so like they did a good job at balancing that in this.
Yeah,
because
for sure.
I didn't want, because again, she's going through a serious situation.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Ben Mendelsohn, like they both can be, like neither of them are like they're serious enough, and I didn't want them wisecracking through it. Especially Ben Mendelsohn, because it's like your fucking family's involved, bro.
Yeah.
So they did a good job with that.
Yeah. He's got some good lines too.
Yeah, he does. They make him, he's like a straight man in it. He's
a little bit.
I liked his little scientist and his like shrug.
Yeah. You're my science guy. All right.
Yeah. That should have been the first clue, because they kind of make them, don't they make them kind of funny right away?
A little, like he's not a little, like not super funny. They're
that's one of those like really easy, like that should have been the first clue, because real easy way is to make a hero and a villain is you make your villain humorless and you make your hero funny.
I just thought that,
I like that person.
Well, as we know, when it starts, when you first meet, his name is Tallis in the movie, Ben Mendelsohn. When you first meet that character, he's combing through her memories looking for something specific, and you hear it in this voiceover during a montage. So, like, it's kind of funny, but, like, I just took, at the time, I didn't take it as, like, a sign. It's like, oh, maybe he's not really the bad guy. I just took it as, well, this is Ben Mendelsohn just being good. Like,
right, because also... and then
having a lot of personality.
Yeah, because they can go both ways. Like that's why I enjoy a lot of Shane Black is he'll make his villains funny too. And it's like, yeah, why not make everybody funny? So, and then that, having no idea tonally where this was going to go, it's just one of those things. And in hindsight, it's like, oh yeah, of course he would be. They're setting him up to be like, he never crosses a line. Like, one of the things I noticed immediately was like, he doesn't seem to be, he's not like T-1000. He's not killing these people and assuming their bodies. And like that, I remember immediately thinking like, oh, that's weird. I guess it's a kid's movie. But yeah, they were doing that because they didn't want him to cross any lines that he... Yeah,
they wanted you to care when they get to the laboratory and he sees his family there that he hasn't seen for 6 years.
Which is fine. Again, this is a family movie. It doesn't need to be like making a lot of weird moral statements or
No, like and I don't think anybody dies.
His little scientist dies.
Yeah, his little scientist dies.
And the cat eats a lot of people.
The cat eats a few people. I meant any of the major characters.
Oh yeah.
Just Minerva, Gemma Chan. She dies.
Who's that one?
She was the sniper.
Oh yeah, and Annette Bening.
Yeah, Annette Bening, but she kind of dies before the movie starts.
Yeah, we know she's dead.
We know she's dead.
I like Annette. I love seeing Annette Bening in this movie.
Yeah, same. It was like when Glenn Close showed up as Nova Prime. I was like, oh shit,
delightful.
Fucking John C. Reilly. It's like,
John C. Reilly, man. I almost feel like that was a waste of John C. Reilly, where like they could have given him another bigger character.
I like the idea that he's on the Nova Force, though.
Yeah, that's true. And again, it was delightful to have him in there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of those fucking it really feels like there's like a Marvel like plan where they go to these actors and they're like, look, do you want to be like a side character or villain? Do you want to be a hero? Where it's like there's a lot of actors I feel like that it's just like, yeah, I could use a couple million. I will jump into this one movie, give me a role that isn't important, kill me off, whatever. Or like Jude Law, it's one of those where like Jude Law is the kind of guy who's like, yeah, I want to do a Marvel movie. I don't want to give Marvel my life.
Yeah.
So throw me in a villain role. Maybe I'll show back up in another movie.
Yeah, I'll be the bad guy once. Maybe I can come back, but I'm not obligated to do so.
Yeah. Sam Rockwell, that's another one where he's just like, yeah, I have other things I want to do.
He does pop up though. Like he popped up in I think it was just in one of the behind, not a behind the scene, but when they used to do those Marvel one shots that were extras on the Blu-rays.
Oh yeah.
He shows up in one of those.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was a delightful movie. I guess I'm frustrated with the directing because I'm like, I really liked a lot of this, but every time like we got to action, basically, I was like, yeah, like
I don't think all of the action. I think the fighting was a little muddy, but all of like the flying.
The flying wasn't bad. Yeah, that was
pretty cool. All the stuff of the flying and in space is pretty. Like there are several plane / spaceship crashes in this, and every single one I was like, ooh. Like when it happens.
Do you think, like, do all they need to do in Endgame is get back in time somehow and then just be like, all right, get him, and Captain Marvel can just beat the crap out of Thanos? Is she that powerful?
Yeah.
Okay. So
you remember how right before the snap, Thor almost kills Thanos?
Oh yeah, he sure does.
All they would have to do is have her and Thor link arms, and like he's atomized. But yeah, I think she could probably blow his ass up on her own.
That was definitely the
maybe not with the gauntlet, but like
right.
But actually shit out because he has to. they handle it a little differently in the movie. In the comics, the gauntlet literally makes him omnipotent.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's a real problem.
Yeah, it's a real problem.
But yeah, in the movie, like even when he has all the gems in the gauntlet, Thor is still able to almost kill him. So yeah. Fuck it. Like
that was definitely like not the sweaty, but like I can imagine the writing of that. They knew like when they were making Infinity Wars, we need to keep Thor away from Thanos.
Yeah, we got to keep Thor the fuck away from that. And so when he finally
Same
shows
with Hulk,
up, like
where they were like, we need to get Hulk out of the picture.
Well,
and Thor.
I mean,
well, they do a good job with Hulk.
Hulk gets fucking dismantled. By Thanos.
But he would have been very useful later.
That's true, but that was also Thanos with like 2 gems, not with the whole gauntlet.
Yeah. Oh, that's my favorite.
Hulk's ass open.
I think that's my favorite moment of that because they want to establish quickly.
Right, it's the Worf thing.
It's the Worf effect, where they're
him.
like, have him kick Hulk's ass, and not just kick his ass cheating, just beat the crap out of him.
He beats the fucking Jesus out of Hulk.
So my guess, because I think they're doing it really well. I think Ant-Man's going to be, because they set up Ant-Man on his own, and they set up Captain Marvel on her own now, and now it's going to be like Ant-Man is the means to go back in time.
Yeah.
And Captain Marvel is the fucking weapon that will demolish Thanos.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's delightful.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Endgame, even though it's 3 hours long.
I don't care.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it should be 3 hours long.
It should be after 11 years of build-up. Like,
yeah.
It should be fucking epic.
If in the perfect world, they're going to end Endgame with, like, the X-Men showing up. Or
some crazy
or the Fantastic Four. They need to
Doom. If they ended it with like Doom strolling up and like picking up a gem or something, that'd be crazy. I would lose my mind. Because he seems like the logical choice for the next like big bad is Doom.
Yeah, oh yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Is Doom that powerful that it would take all of them Avengers and shit?
Yeah, well, he usually schemes his way into some sort of godly power.
Okay.
Like
that was what made, of course, Civil War great, is that it didn't matter. The villain wasn't powerful at all.
No. Zemo wins. Like, he gets what he wants.
Oh,
yeah. His plan works.
Yeah, and that still isn't resolved.
No, it's not really.
No, not at all. Well, no, Captain America and Iron Man, they haven't seen each other. That's still a fucking thing.
Yeah, but Doom frequently he has stolen Odin's power before.
Jesus.
In the Secret Wars, he takes the Beyonder's power, and the Beyonder is this galactic being that can basically create things out of will. Doom
showing up would be Galactus, right? That should probably happen.
Galactus would be a cool one to do.
Yeah,
and he wouldn't just be a cloud like he was in Rise of the Silver Surfer. Oh, Silver Surfer could show up.
Surfer.
Oh shit!
I want no changes. I want Lawrence Fishburne and Doug Jones.
And Doug Jones, yeah.
Fuck it. Man. Yeah, they can go in a lot of directions from here. I'm super excited in terms of this movie. This made me mostly excited to see Captain Marvel 2, to see when it's like, okay, she's flying around space punching giant
I want to see her
shit.
space 90s.
Yeah.
I want to see her listening to fucking Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness while she's flying through the Stellarverse.
This is that issue, and it's unavoidable with all origin stories, which is, at least personally, I don't really go back and watch the origin films because it's just like, no, I want to see them when they're let loose.
It depends on the film. Iron Man is really good.
Iron Man's quite good because Iron Man is also the origin of the whole universe, and like it's so like oddly quaint.
Yeah,
for that reason.
I really like the first Captain America too.
I do too. That's the thing, is I like them all.
Mm-hmm.
I just
they're the ones first Thor is a lot of fun too. That movie is pretty cool.
I guess I have the least desire to go back to those.
Yeah, so I'm glad. I mean, they did it for a few reasons, but I'm glad they just jumped right into Spider-Man. They're like, yes. you guys know who Spider-Man is. Let's go.
Yeah. Captain Marvel absolutely needed an origin because it was funny because I was ready to just accept her powers and not even question it. And then when she blew up that engine and it gave her powers, I was actually surprised. I was like, oh, right. She needs an origin. Like, I need to know how she became this way. I honestly didn't care. I was just like, yeah, that's great. She's great.
I mean, but they explained it. I think this is one of the less clunky origin stories.
No, it's great. Yeah, as an origin,
it's pretty because she's already established.
That was one of the biggest. That's why it was a surprise because I didn't see it coming. I was just like, oh, yeah, we're watching her. She's great. She's got powers. Yeah. And then they explain how she got the power. And I was like, oh, right. I should probably know how she got her powers. But it didn't feel like it was shoehorned in.
No. And they do it. They do it in a. Yeah. So you're already hitting the ground running with her cosmic powers in this film, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And they sort of had to make this one an origin story because she's not
100%.
She's not an A-tier character. Like, she's not a super popular character. So
I had no idea. I liked learning how she got her name because that was another one where I was like, man, why is she called Captain Marvel? And
that's a whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how it was in the comics, but they did a good job where her name is Marvel or whatever.
Yeah,
Annette Bening, and it was like, that's great.
Yeah.
This might be.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Directing aside, I think this might be the best origin. No, I guess Iron Man is probably the best origin.
I would probably still give it to Iron Man, but this one, man, it's just I'm becoming a sucker for the cosmic stuff.
Yes,
which is funny because I avoided the cosmic comics for the most part as a kid, except for Infinity Gauntlet. Like, I read the shit out of that one,
right?
But I didn't get into the space stuff in the comics until much later. And then, of course, they did Guardians, and that was a blast. And I was like, oh yeah. This opens up so much more.
I feel like we have James Gunn to credit for that because he established the weirdness where it's like it's weird up there, and that's why I like the cat in this because the cat felt weird. Where they're like, we can kind of be bizarre. Yeah,
weird but not out of place.
Yes. Well, because it makes sense because Earth is Earth. We know what Earth is. And like they just did such a good job at it's just like they slowly turned up the heat because it was like Iron Man makes sense. It's technology. It's something we know, we understand. And they started with that where it's like Hulk and Captain America. This is just our technology. We're evolving. We're developing super science. And then they're like, okay, now here's space.
Yeah.
Where technology is already so fucking advanced that it's like insane magic.
Yeah.
And then that's where they could be like, hey, here's Howard the Duck. And it's like, it does not bother me at all. That fits perfectly. Here's a talking raccoon. And then that's what made Infinity War great is because we're like, oh, I can't wait till the super science world and this crazy space world collides where they start meeting.
And then also literal magic with Doctor Strange.
Yes. Oh, yeah. They did a good job kind of slowly introducing that as well.
Yeah.
And the way Tony Stark is like not that like he fights against it. They're doing a good job at like just slowly bringing us into this insane world
where literally anything is possible.
Yeah. Again,
yeah, it's just it's a blast. I'm a sucker for the cosmic stuff. I'm such a Marvel mark. Like I enjoy these movies so much.
It's why I didn't question her powers in this because it was just like sure.
Yeah, sure. She got cosmic abilities. Why not?
That's cosmic power. That's fine. Yeah, I mean they're delightful films. Narratively, on a filmmaking level, they leave a lot to be desired for me.
Sure,
like I don't watch these. Like I keep talking about having seen Whiplash recently. Whiplash is still it's a small movie and it still makes way more of an impact on me than any Marvel film could. Mainly because it's just like
sure,
it's
but this
human
is like
story. But these are epics and they're fun and I'm enjoying them and they don't need to be like amazing on a filmmaking level or a narrative level because that's just not what they are. It's Star Trek. It's Star Trek.
Yeah, sometimes stories just need to be fun. Like it's like
my only
last action hero is not Lawrence of Arabia.
My only criticism on that level, like establishing that of Marvel, is that when I comparing it to Star Trek, where it's like I kind of want more like mindfucky stuff. Like I would love a little more Twilight Zone-y stuff. Like Doctor Strange did that, where they're like looping this moment in time and shit like that. Like I want them to start like dissecting the weird aspects of these powers, and what it would do to them, or like things it could do. You know, like I think that would be. I think that would be really fun. I know not why they're not doing it. It's because they're making these for families and they're just making superhero movies. But I do think there's like more on a psychological level that they could be exploring.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
There's different ways you could have a little more fun with it.
Yeah, things like the fact that we mentioned Thor is so much older than everybody else.
Yeah,
and like that's insane, and they don't really talk about it.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so much fun.
Yeah, they're fun, and I appreciate that they're fun without being dumb or mean.
No, they're not mean. Definitely not mean. And yeah, they're not dumb. I think the humor is always hit or miss because some of it feels a little forced, and not just this movie, but all of them. There'll be one or two jokes where I'll be like, that wasn't an appropriate time to do that.
Yeah. I just meant dumb in terms of like, where it's just like a Transformers movie.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, these aren't Transformers movies.
Or it's just like completely mindless and just like.
Well, the action is still, again, the action as this was muddled.
Yeah.
It's usually pretty brief, and it's usually not just like noise being thrown at your face.
Well, and the big difference between a Transformers movie and a movie like this is that they focus so much. It's all about how much you care about the characters. Like they focus so much on the characters.
That's the biggest thing about Marvel is I think it's great for in terms of ensemble casts and getting actors to like play these fun roles that are also complex. It feels challenging because it's like, okay, you're going to put on this clown suit, you're going to say these jokes, but we also need
carnival costume.
Yeah, but we also need you to real quick. This person killed your family. It's just like it's that where it's like so like it's like a puzzle with this because it's the actors are going to have to do so much, and they're getting paid enough to care.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, it's great. Enjoyed it a lot. Go see it.
It always feels weird talking positively about these movies because I don't think I don't know. I always feel weird trying to analyze them because I know exactly what they are. They know what they are. So it's just like, if you're going to see this movie, it's fun.
Yeah,
bring your fucking kids or your family and go see this movie. It's a lot of fun. It's a family movie.
It's fun.
Yeah,
it's I think mostly well made. It's fine. It's fun.
That's the thing with Marvel movies, and is that they have a quality level for everything.
Yeah, that's that Disney baby.
Yeah, that's that Disney. That's the
Disney.
Most troubling aspect of any of this.
Yeah, I mean,
the only time I felt weird was hearing Nirvana. When I was like, this. I know it's just me getting old, but this feels like something Cobain wouldn't necessarily enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole other thing.
That's just getting old. That's when you start hearing your music in an elevator, where it's like I'm that old. I'm becoming that older demographic that they're like. I'm at an age where they're thinking that my age is bringing their kids to this, so they're like a little something for the parents.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a sode, I think.
Oh, for sure, that's a sode.
We've I think we did a good job of covering this film.
Yeah, good job, us.
Yeah, way to go, us. I feel like we're just as much a hero as Captain Marvel.
I think so too.
Yeah, we're on equal ground with her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're if you want to head on over to patreon.com/gamefulunemployed, you can head over there and support us if you'd like to. You also get access to a couple of exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder's a Maniac. And we also got some new codes for certain tiers of Patrons.
Codes. Yeah. We got some coupon codes. We have a TeePublic store, tpublic.com/store/gamefullyunemployed. And depending on what Patreon tier you subscribe to, you will get a discount on our shirts. The shirts are a couple original shirts and a lot of podcast shirts.
A lot of podcast logos. But a couple of ridges. A couple of ridges.
Some more to
ridges. Some more ridges on the horizon. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
Yeah, watch this movie. It's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Watch Jude Law.
Watch Jude Law.
Had it coming.
He sure did.